What's up, my PT peeps? One Eye Bri back to talk about the Walking Dead theory and discussion about Judith, and is Judith cursed? Well, I guess the people who take care of Judith, but we'll talk about that theory and discussion. Just a fun thing that we made a little connection with. If you're not up to date on the show, spoiler warning, obviously, if you don't want to know, stop watching now, because we're going to talk some things about season 3 to season 7, and I don't want to ruin it for you, but here we go. Now, Judith Grimes is a different character from the comic and the show, because in the show, she's alive. In the comic, she's dead. Now, Judith Grimes is a smaller character on the show, and she's actually twins. This is the latest set of twins, and she's been played by a variety of different twins for all the different seasons of it, starting in season 3. And the latest one of season 7 into season 8 is the same actress or actresses. Now, to start the theory off, Judith killed her mother. Well, she didn't kill her mother. Lori died in childbirth, so that connection kind of shows that Lori died because of giving birth to Judith, so hence Judith is somewhat connected with the death of her mother. In the comics, she is killed by a bullet when the governor attacks the prison. Lori is holding Judith in her arms. Both Lori and Judith are killed. Very different from the show, obviously, as Judith is still alive, and nobody wants to see a baby die on the show or in real life. I mean, that'd just be terrible television and just content. But let's talk about the theory. The theory is that Judith is responsible for people dying. Well, the caregivers of Judith are. Now, a lot of people have taken care of Judith, as of Herschel, Beth, Tyrese, Carol, Father Gabriel, Carl, a lot of people. And a lot of those people have died. So there's some, strength to the theory. 3 out of the 4 people have died in this picture. Tyrese, Lizzie, and Minka, and possibly Carol down the road. Carol's still alive, and Judith isn't responsible for killing these people. She didn't take out a gun or a knife and kill these people directly, but the theory of who takes care of Judith the longest and really is the most involved with Judith's care has wound up dead has some strength to it. Carol's still alive, and she had a big part with Judith, so that's the kind of breaker. But Tyrese, Beth was seen having Judith a lot of the time at the prison. They got separated and they never saw each other again, but in the prison, Beth was constantly being handed Judith to take care of her. And yes, she didn't die for 2 more seasons after season 3 when Judith was around and introduced, but there's some weight to it. And yes, it's a theory, it's a discussion, it's just a fun little thing to do that. But Beth took care of Judith for a while and definitely wound up dead. The same thing with Tyrese. Tyrese was always with Judith, especially in season 4 and season 5 before he died. And he was constantly the caretaker for Judith, especially in this season 5 premiere. There was a whole big part with Judith and everything else there too. So that's a serious connection. Tyrese ended up dying. The next is Olivia. She was a smaller character by far, but she was responsible for Judith a lot of the time, especially in season 7, and she wound up dead. So if you're taking care of Judith, you better watch out. Carl, you better watch out, that's for sure. I don't think Carl's going to die, or Rick's going to die. It's his child, and he's seen, caring for her and holding her several times. Maybe Carol might, though. I don't know. Carol, every season, she could die, or they're writing how they're going to do it. She commits suicide or whatever, like the comic. Father Gabriel, now he has a huge comic death. And I hope that they bring that to the show, and has nothing to do with Judith. It's very long away from that. But Michonne, I think you're safe. And to me, the theory holds truth. If you took care of Judith for a long period of time, or if you were very responsible for Judith, then you would be most likely to die. And Michonne only held her a couple times. Carl, I don't think Carl's going to die, but just a fun little thing to see the pictures of Carl and Judith. Now, I would love it for the curse of Judith to rain down on Negan, but Negan only watched her in 2 episodes, and not even the whole episode. And again, it's just a fun little theory of Judith being responsible for people dying. I would love for Negan to die at the hands of Judith, but I could see down the road, many seasons down the road, and Judith has grown up, and Negan is still alive, or Rick is still alive. What if Judith is going to be attacked by walkers or another group or something, and Negan goes in and saves Judith, or Rick does the same thing? Negan's not the worst guy ever. Hopefully we see that story arc like in the comics, but Negan could, die protecting Judith. It makes more sense for Rick to do that if Judith was in trouble, or Carl was in trouble, or they both were. Rick sacrifices himself to save Judith. It would be a big death. Rick eventually has to die in the comic and on the show, I would presume, if it's the very end of the series or what. And that could be the reason why Rick dies, protecting Judith or protecting Carl. But Judith could be, you know, again, responsible for people dying, not by her own accord, or she directly kills the person, or someone dies saving her, most likely Rick or Carl or something like that. It would make sense. Or Judith is cursed and she brings death around her because she is related to Shane, a troubled soul, half Lori, half Shane, could be a cursed individual in the world of The Walking Dead. So there you go, guys. That's just a fun theory and discussion. Check out our Patreon page. All donations are welcome. $1 gives you full access to it. All donations help. Check out our book on Amazon, Fight for Us. It's on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. That's the first book of our series. Check out our Instagram at the PT channel. We're on Twitter as well. We got the t-shirts still going right now. $20, $4.95 shipping, so $25 total, with proceeds going back to the channel and to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Thank you guys if you bought one already. Appreciate it. Check out the Walking Dead community page on Facebook. All are welcome. If you like this channel, you like the group. If you do like this channel, guys, hit that subscribe button today. Join our team, Team PT all the way, and let us know what you think of the theory and discussion of Judith being cursed on The Walking Dead. Thanks, guys.